Curious how you choose interior paint colors, which ones will coordinate with each other, complement, or even clash with one another? Stick around as we get into that in the question of the day. What's going on, guys? Matt in the Hat, Matt Johnson Real Estate, powered by Keller Williams Diamond Partners. You are tuned in to the Hot List. I come to you on Monday through Friday each and every week around 12 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we hang out and talk real estate. We talk properties new to the market with recent price reductions or something unique about the property that I want to share with everybody and want you all to know. I also answer a question of the day that is submitted by a listener of the podcast. And for more information on how you can get your question not only answered, but on the show, just stick around till the end. And finally, I recognize and thank a sponsor of the week each and every single week. This week is going to be no exception. And if you'd like more information on what it takes to be a sponsor of the week or how you can be a sponsor of the week, wherever you listen to this, drop me a comment and we will have a conversation about what it would take to become a sponsor of the week for the Hot List. First and foremost, let me thank everybody for watching, listening to this, whether you are catching it live or listening to it on any other platform. I do want to thank you and apologize because usually December 1st, I break out the Santa hats, which you can see on Facebook and YouTube here. And it took my youngest son to call me out and remind me that I haven't been wearing my hats. So what's the deal? Well, I just forgot, was busy thinking about other things, and just wasn't something that really registered right off the bat. Now that I have it, he was pretty excited about my Chewbacca hat today, and so all is well. Jumping right into it, the property we're talking about today, the address is 574 West Highway 50, right here in Emporia. This is a ranch-style house, 3 beds, 2 bath, does have an attached 2-car garage, and it has 2,190 square feet of finished space, currently listed for $249,900 courtesy of Eck Real Estate. This house also comes with 7.3 acres and an outbuilding. The outbuilding is 60 by 30 and has a concrete floor, so if you have other vehicles, toys, whatever the case may be, you want to store it someplace where not going to get muddy, have to worry about any type of water elements, concrete floor, good to go. This does have an unfinished basement in it, complete remodel within the last 5 years to include hardwood floors, and the fireplace that's there is a gas fireplace instead of a wood, so a little bit easier to fire up, get rolling quicker, and less mess than what would be. Wood, you know what I mean. What firewood could be. See, there you go. So all you got to do is just click on the link in the description, and that will take you right to my website so you can see the house for yourself. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. Reach out to me. I'd be happy to answer some questions, as well as schedule a showing if you are a pre-approved buyer looking for a property like this one. Before I get to the question of the day, I do want to recognize and thank our sponsor of the week this week, and that is Britton Family Chiropractic right here in Emporia. This is family owned, and we have Dr. Jacob and Dr. Lisa Britton, yes, husband and wife. They have a practice there, and they've been doing it here in town since 2014. You can call them to schedule an appointment, 620-208-7550. And let me tell you, they work wonders. My wife has gone to see Dr. Jacob, and he does amazing work. I just recently went to see Dr. Lisa because some of you may know that I lost feeling in my middle ring and pinky fingers all the way up to my shoulders for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And I went to see Dr. Lisa, and she got me going. So because of her in the last couple weeks, I've been able to have feeling no numbness in my digits. So that is definitely a plus. But all you got to do is just click on the link in the description. That's going to take you to their Facebook page. From there, you can either call them directly with the phone number listed, check out their website for additional information about them. It also lists their address as well. So if you have questions, needs, or concerns, they are the ones to call. Make sure you give them a call. Again, 620-208-7550. If you are interested in being a sponsor of the week, all you got to do is just shoot me a message or drop comment wherever you're listening to this at. We will have a conversation and see about getting you on the show as a sponsor of the week. And now, favorite part of the show is the question of the day. The question of the day is submitted by a listener of the podcast. I've been doing this Monday through Friday for over a year now, and I just greatly appreciate everybody that watches, that interacts, and sends me questions. I cannot continue to do this without your questions, so please keep those coming. I love hearing them, and I do what I can to answer them in a timely manner. So the question of the day: how do I choose between interior colors? We've talked about colors and paint schemes on the podcast before, not quite to this particular situation or scenario. Ultimately, your home is your sanctuary. It's your place to escape everyday chaos. It's your place to escape and keep your sanity. And right now with COVID going on, it's your place to stay safe and just be with your family when you can. Sometimes those sacred spaces can get pretty chaotic on their own, whether you have kids or pets. Let's face it. Maybe it's the clutter that's spilling out from room to room. Sometimes worse than that clutter is the room colors fail to flow or harmonize and complement one another. Like I've mentioned before, when we moved into our house, our living room was like a turquoise color. Our bedroom was turquoise. Our kitchen was 3 different colors. The bottom was like a reddish pink. The middle was yellow, and then the top was like a light blue. So not the most appealing paint when we saw it when we moved in. Of course, everybody knows that is only cosmetic, pretty simple to fix. Keep in mind, repainting can be a big job. We've talked about it before, and many of you know that have done it. It can be a lot. If you plan it right, you can create the home that you've always wanted. So what we're going to talk about today are going to be 3 items to consider when choosing interior colors. Number 1 is going to be thinking globally. It's very tempting, I've been guilty myself, to think of your home as a series of rooms. And because it's a series of rooms, each one is entirely independent from one another. Now, the truth is, this is slightly different because your house is actually a series of rooms. That part is correct. However, these rooms work together to create the overall atmosphere that you have in your house or that you want in your house. Plus, it not only gives us shelter, it also is a place for us to store our stuff. And let's face it, most of us have no shortage of stuff. Most of us have more stuff that just becomes shit that we have and keep for no particular reason. Once you consider how your rooms can work together, then you can choose what types of colors are far more likely to play well together and complement each other room by room. So what I would recommend doing is starting with the obvious rooms, like rooms that are literally connected together. unless you have a teenager, chances are high that your doors are going to stay open long enough for you to spy and look in from one room to another. Now, of course, you may have some larger rooms and larger spaces that the room is part of that larger space. For example, the most common ones that people think about with this are a living room dining room combo or a dining room kitchen combo. So before going to the paint store or looking online, I would recommend mapping out how each room interacts with the next. And the example that I'm going to use is a living room dining room combo, because you've got two spaces working independently but together at the same time. So consider this when you're choosing color options. Even if the colors aren't exactly the same, for example, you want to paint your living room a little bit lighter shade of blue because blue is a little more calming color. Then painting the dining room gray because the gray is more of a neutral color and you can do a lot with it. Now, when doing this, you want to carefully choose colors that are going to complement and work well together. That brings us to number 2 item, which are rooms behind walls. What about less obvious rooms in your house, like your guest bedrooms, bathrooms, utility room? Are any of these acting independently, even with a transition, walking from one room to the other? Not exactly. Like I mentioned above, when you're moving through a space like the living room dining room combo, you want a similar hang on. All right, there we go. You want a similar feel from one room to the next. So, using that living room dining room combo, what if you're sitting in the dining room and your kitchen sits behind the dining room? What if you were to paint your kitchen orange, which I have seen before, to make it, a little more bright and cheerful? Well, instead of choosing a color that harmonizes that blue and gray, you've chosen one that clashes. And it's very likely that you're going to see the kitchen walls from the dining room, and it might not go over well either with you or your guests. It seems kind of ridiculous to worry about clashing colors on walls because ultimately it's paint, right? Well, ultimately it is paint. However, you just want to keep in mind that you want it to flow because you may only see the overlap of that paint around the hallway or doorways, but think about the colors as attitudes or even hints about how rooms are meant to be used or you want to use them. So, what type of atmosphere do you want to create in that room? Now, don't get me wrong, I have learned because my wife is the painter, contrasting colors do have their places. I'm still not allowed to use those or paint with those contrasting colors, but I'm told they have their places. And you can get these to work with transitional spaces as well. Generally, it's better to maintain coordinated colors between your rooms so they continue to complement and not clash. So you ultimately have two goals with this. Your first goal is you want to choose what type of atmosphere that you want to convey in your home. Whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's pastels, maybe it's jewel tones, or maybe it's earth tones. Whatever that looks like, just keep it consistent. Your second goal is going to be to apply those colors in a way that maintains that emotional effect that you have in mind. So going back to the kitchen example that I just used, since your living room and dining room are a gray and a blue color, now depending on what type of palette you're working with, let me preface this with that. You might consider a type of color like a light blue gray color that's going to be subtle, or maybe even a light green color that's going to work well. And I've seen and heard about some light yellow colors as well that will work very, very nice with the blues and the grays. And finally, that takes us to number 3, which are colors are moods. Choose them wisely. What I will do is I will include a link in the comments that to Sherwin-Williams forecast colors for 2021. Sherwin-Williams has been predicting color palettes for I don't even know how many years now, so they are a great place to start when you're looking for your new it color or in color or trending colors, whatever it is you're looking for. There are other companies that offer, paint chips or samples or swatches, and this is going to give you pre-designed options and colors, and just put them on your walls or around the room and just see different times a day what the natural light and then your lights in your house will hit those like. If you're unsure if you can handle the job on your own, whether it's choosing paint or when it comes to painting itself, you can always look at hiring somebody that, like an interior decorator, designer, maybe even somebody that is a professional painter. They can help sit down with you, have a consultation with you, and see what you want to do and get that big picture that you're looking for. So that's it. Those are the top 3 items to consider when you are choosing interior paint colors. Run through them one more time. Number 1 was thinking globally as far as what type of atmosphere that you want to create in your home, because you don't want it to be just a place that you come home to. It gives you shelter and stores your stuff. You want to create a home and that positive atmosphere that you look forward to getting to. Number 2, rooms behind walls. For rooms that don't necessarily transition directly from one to another, like a dining room, kitchen, living room, dining room, like your guest bedrooms, bathroom, or utility room. You still want to, because you have to move through those spaces, you still want to get a color that will complement whatever room you're coming out of and going into the next. And then finally, number 3, like I mentioned, colors are moods. You got to choose them wisely. I will include a link to Sherwin-Williams forecast. They've been doing it for a number of years, and they can give you an idea of what type of palettes will really go well together, what complements each other. And like I said, we've chosen ours. By we, I mean Lisa. Except for the office, I'm going to choose a new office color, and my office color is going to be green, because green has shown to be more productive and more producing color than like a blue color that is going to be more calming, or a red that's going to be more stimulating and make you kind of hangry. So that is going to wrap it up for me in the hot list. So thank you for watching, tuning in with Matt in a Hat, Matt Johnson Real Estate, powered by Keller Williams Diamond Partners. I do this because your experience matters and should be trusted with a veteran. Look for that link here shortly, and I will see you guys tomorrow for our weekly market update. Take care.